gentlemen, welcome back here at F3 in Chattanooga. It's day one, morning session, and it's been incredible so far. We've had some great talks, great content. We have an entire hallway full of 50 exhibitors and demo companies. They're doing demos up on the main stage this morning. That'll continue into the afternoon. I am back here on the FreightWaves TV stage with a special guest from 𝐅𝐶 Solutions, Tatiana Charris, who just flew in from Bogota today. Thanks for joining us here in Chattanooga.
Thank you, Kevin. It's really my pleasure and LSG's pleasure to be here and talking to all of these amazing people. It was a long trip, but definitely worth it.
Perfect. We're glad to have you. Glad you made the long trip to Chattanooga, Tennessee from Bogota. And we're going to talk about kind of your role and kind of your progression, your career at 𝐅𝐶 Solutions and what you do. So they tell me, and you told me, that you started out, was it tracing or logistics coordinator?
It was. So if you think of LSG, you definitely think of growth, and that growth is not limited to the company. It trickles down to each one of the employees. And I'm definitely an example of that and how it happened. So I started as a logistics coordinator, which is just providing support to one of our clients. I started taking calls, providing tracking updates, routing, and having some SOD support as well. And then slowly through the years started changing roles, supporting the operations department, the implementations department. And I am currently the branch manager for Bogota, which is the second biggest branch in our Colombia office. Bogota is Colombia's capital, so as you know, there's a lot of moving parts. And being a branch manager really shows the industry's vibe, which is being attentive to every detail, making sure all of it from infrastructure to staffing is working as it has to.
And so you're a branch manager. How many people do you manage? Because it's a lot.
It is. So some ask me, and I'll put you to the test here. You asked me if I manage about 300. When I got the branch, we had 600 people just assigned to the Bogota branch, and we're already closing the 2,000. So it's really an example of how 𝐅𝐶 grows in each one of our locations.
2,000 people. I mean, it's been incredible growth. We did a FreightWaves TV interview with Robert Cardeña, the CEO of 𝐅𝐶 Solutions in Arkansas back about 6 months ago, and the growth in headcount is phenomenal over the last. I will let you give the exact, but it's like 1,500 to 8,000 over how many years?
That is correct. We just had our 10th anniversary a week ago. Anyone that follows us on Instagram knows it was a fun time. It was the Colombian type of a celebration, so we really enjoyed it. So to answer your question, it was 10 years and then 15 to 8,000. That is a big leap, and we've put a lot of effort into making this growth sustainable and scalable for us and all of our clients.
And the 1,500 to 8,000, I mean, that's just been the last couple years?
Yes. So we've been in this for 10 years. The last 5 has definitely been like the changing aspect of it all. The pandemic did show us that we can work remotely, and of course it proved our module to be efficient for all of the clients that we're looking for support.
It's just really phenomenal growth, and it really takes in, and you're a branch manager, people, process, and technology. That's the theme of what we're talking about today. And it really, to scale up that quickly, that many employees, it really does. It's a combination of that people, process, and technology. And
it is what we preach. When everyone is asking, how is LSG making these big changes? How do you go from this to 8,000? That growth comes from us. The perspective is 3 key aspects. So it's people, processes, technology. People we're known for. You know that the staffing aspect, it is definitely something that LSG excels at. We go to each of the locations and we scout for the best talent, and we make sure that the people's aspect is well taken care of, that we look for the right profile for each of the positions that we staff for, that if we're looking for a care sales representative, we are looking for sales-driven, motivated people that we can provide for each of our clients. And of course, processes is a huge aspect of it too. It's not only having great talent as a company, but having efficient processes that make everything happen. So we are also very aligned in what we do, how each department works with the other, and how everything is standardized to make sure that we can provide the quality that we're known for. And then technology, which is part of what we're here for, it's also something that we've invested a lot of time and effort into. And to give you an example, we of course provide staffing for our clients, and we can go through about 6,000 resumes per month. It is something that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. And then we started very recently this year putting AI into it and then saying, if we get 6,000 resumes, how can we get through this in the most efficient way so that we can scout that talent and then just go direct to those that are worth an interview, that we should be giving a little bit more time and energy into to identify the strongest members in each of the locations we open.
And when you have 6,000 resumes, it takes process and technology to fit it down. And as a client of Lean Solutions, Lean Staffing, the interview process is pretty rigorous. It was a little bit more rigorous than I was expecting. I loved it. Gina walked me through quite a bit of it. But, and the candidates that we interviewed, I mean, that they were all top notch.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. And of course, it's something that we work really hard on. Some of our clients are asking us like, okay, so do you filter them before they're presented? And a lot of steps are behind the scenes happening before we even provide a CV for one of our clients. It does start with the 6,000 resume we go through each month, but there's also the level of English that is required and filtered before we even interview. As the HR interviews, identifying the type of personalities that that everyone that we interview is bringing to the table. There's an operational interview, so that we look into the skill sets of each of the candidates we have, and we say, would this person excel as a tracker? Which this person excel as a 𝐅𝐶 representative? And then identify, which pool that person is going to be assigned to make sure that, yes, we have great staffing, but great staffing assigned to the right role to make it successful. And then there are a few more interviews and steps into it, and it ends with the training process as well. So as we onboard and select and go through the whole hiring process, some of our clients, or most of our clients, know that everyone we present goes through a logistics and transportation training before they're even interviewing with them for a role. And it is game changer for our clients to know that they have staffing that understands the industry before they even hit the ground. And when we talk about, technology as well, it is something that's made a huge impact for us. We've been providing this training ever since LSG started, and it started as a 5-week course, of course, going through terminology, what the industry is about, differences between LTL and TL. So when you interview, the person's, that you're interviewing knows what you're talking about. Now that we've automated that process in a portion, we've limited that 5-week to a 2-week training, which is a big leap for us to make sure that we are shortening that time without affecting the knowledge that is put into the person that will be then filling the role.
And that's process and technology, right? They're all wrapped into one, automating that process. And I got to say, 5 weeks, 2 weeks, that's much more training than I ever got. My first job in logistics, I got a phone and a computer and an account to a load board and thrown to the sharks a little bit. So it's good to know that another rigorous training process to bring a new account reps on. And it's really that combines all three, right? People, process, and technology.
It does, and it really is a balance between all three aspects. Like if you think of a successful company and you think there's great staffing and there's great technology, well, if the processes are not aligned and standardized, you might be automating a process that wasn't efficient to begin with. So you end up in creating these rules and you're using resources not to the best of the ability, even if you have 2 of them. So it's something we've been focusing on within the last few years. Yes, we have great staffing, and we now have the technology, and the processes are something that makes a really big difference. Like, do you really know what you're doing? Do you specialize in each industry? And then each department has a goal that really ties into your mission and your vision. So how can you make that scalable for not only us, but all of our clients to which we provide best practices to?
It is all about scalability, right? And that's what it comes down to. We talked a little about training, a little bit about HR, I think, in the hiring process. What other parts of the business and as a branch manager, you dip your toes in when it comes to other processes, other technology, and certainly people above and foremost?
Well, this one actually ties the people to both processes and technology. So we have a very well structured quality assurance team, and that department focuses on keeping track of performance, which is something that our clients really want to know. If you have a team of trackers, you want to know every single day how many check calls are making, how the inbound calls are looking. Are we making outbounds or sending texts to the drivers? How are we getting up updates? And then we do have a platform, and there's a Power BI ready for each one of our clients that they can access any given time. So if you want to just dive into it and see how the trends are looking, how many loads are we moving, how many check calls are required to change the status, you can just take a look at that dashboard, and it gives you a lot of valuable information. So it serves me, as for your question, as a manager, to know how my branch is doing. Are we aligned to the expectations for each one of our clients? And for our clients, it's great visibility and great data to have. It helps you understand how your business is doing, and it also helps you understand how each of your employees, even those in a different country, are doing.
Yeah, you can't manage what you can't measure. So having great measurement comes with the process of technology to put that together. It doesn't end with training, but it's an ongoing metric and measurement of productivity, which goes straight to the bottom line, right? And it's part of the benefits of working with lean and having those key metrics that you need to have to run a freight brokerage.
That is right. And then part of it also is how our clients sometimes have clear expectations. And depending on how your board is looking, how many loads have to be touched and how many check calls are expected. But not every time as a client what you're looking for. And that is where these years of experience come into play, in which we can say, we've seen countless trackers through the years, and we can tell you based on our best practices what a good expectation could be, and then walk our clients through that process to make sure that that scalability is there for them as well, that they can understand what's being done, which is part of the questions we sometimes get. Like, you are expanding in a different country and sometimes even a different continent. How can we make sure that the culture is there, but also the numbers, the performance, and everything is being touched? So how we show that is really key. Some of our clients are old school. We jump into calls, we explain everything, we show the dashboard. But for some of our clients that are more into, let me get everything at a glance, that's when the data analysis comes into play. And it really expands to even some of our clients asking, can I get someone from your workforce department and your quality analytics department to analyze my data in the US, which we started doing very recently. Also showing, how we analyze data, how we manage performance, how we red flag every single key performance indicator that we have. Some of our clients are now interested in knowing about that too, and having us remotely manage their data and their performance for their teams.
It's amazing watching the evolution of lean solutions go from an idea that was a new trend, right? Something that some people would call untested, right? And now, because I talked to a lot of freight brokerages, it seems like everyone has an office in Colombia, Guatemala, where you've expanded, and it's mainstream. It's almost table stakes for the 3PL world now, which it's always amazing to see those stories.
Yes, and now that you mentioned different locations, and I know you talked to Rob about this during his last visit as well, we definitely started with Colombia, but when you think about all the different locations that can provide this service, it's endless possibilities. And we really scout for talent anywhere it's great. So if you think about a location and we say there is amazing talent here that should be providing support to the industry, we go there and start tapping into it. So what started with Colombia is now Colombia, Guatemala, the Philippines. I'm sure Rob told you about during his lab visit. It's now established and growing. And we also have exciting plans for the year. So Mexico is going to be our next location. We're already getting ready for all of our clients to get onboarded there. The recruitment process with this automation we talked about is going great. And then what we're doing now is tying into the processes aspect of it, making sure that our quality and what we're known for is there. And it's something we pride ourselves into. You get the LSG experience just as much in Bogota as you would in Barranquilla, in the Philippines, and any city that we go to.
Thank you so much for joining us today here at F3. It's been a pleasure, and congrats on your career.
Thank you so much for having me.